The billionaire laughed as the old car was rolled toward the scrapyard gate. The paint was faded. Rust covered parts of the body. The tires were worn, and one headlight hung loosely from the front bumper. To everyone watching, it looked like nothing more than a forgotten piece of metal waiting for its final trip to the junkyard. But 7 days later, that same car would sell at auction for $8 million. And the man who sold it was not a wealthy collector, a famous dealer, or a powerful investor. He was a struggling single father who could barely afford groceries for his son. Before we begin, if you believe kindness, hard work, and second chances can change a person's life, please take a moment to like this video, comment where you're watching from, share this story with someone who needs hope today, and subscribe to the channel for more inspiring stories. The story began in Austin, Texas. Nathan Brooks was 38 years old and exhausted by life. Every morning before sunrise, he delivered packages across the city. In the afternoons, he repaired lawn equipment in a small rented garage. Every dollar mattered because he was raising his 10-year-old son, Caleb, alone. Life had not been easy for Nathan. 3 years earlier, his wife had passed away after a long illness. Since then, every responsibility rested on his shoulders. He worked endlessly to keep food on the table and a roof over their heads. Despite the hardship, Caleb remained the brightest part of his life. The boy had a curious mind and loved anything mechanical. He spent hours sketching cars, studying engines, and reading old automotive magazines borrowed from the public library. One Saturday morning, Nathan received a call from a local scrapyard owner named Victor Hayes. Victor occasionally hired him to inspect old vehicles before they were dismantled. When Nathan arrived, he noticed unusual activity. Several luxury SUVs were parked near the office, and workers seemed nervous. A famous billionaire entrepreneur named Richard Sullivan was clearing space in one of his private warehouses. Richard owned hundreds of vehicles scattered across multiple properties. Most were rare collectibles worth fortunes. But among them sat one battered, forgotten car. The vehicle looked terrible. Its silver paint was nearly gone. Dust coated every surface. The interior was torn and moldy. Most people wouldn't have paid a few $100s for it. Nathan watched as workers reviewed inventory paperwork. Then Richard glanced at the old car and waved dismissively. According to the documents, the vehicle had no clear history, no restoration value, and no interest from collectors. The billionaire simply labeled it worthless. Within minutes, the car was assigned to the scrapyard. Nathan should have ignored it. But something caught his attention. Near the driver's seat, beneath years of dust, he noticed a small emblem. It was unusual. Very unusual. Most people would never recognize it. But Nathan had seen something similar years ago in an automotive history magazine. He asked Victor if he could inspect the vehicle before it was crushed. Victor shrugged and agreed. Nathan spent nearly an hour studying the car. Underneath the damage, certain details seemed wrong. The chassis numbers didn't match ordinary production records. Several components appeared hand-built. The frame construction was unlike anything found in mass-produced vehicles. By the time he finished, his heart was racing. He wasn't certain. But he suspected this car might be something extraordinary. The problem was that he had almost no money. After paying rent, utilities, and school expenses, his savings account contained less than $600. Still, he couldn't shake the feeling. Late that evening, he approached Victor with an offer. Using nearly every dollar he had, Nathan purchased the forgotten vehicle before it entered the crusher. When he brought the car home on a borrowed trailer, neighbors laughed. Some thought he had finally lost his mind. Even Caleb looked confused. Yet when father and son examined the vehicle together under the garage lights, excitement slowly replaced doubt. Over the next several days, they worked every free hour. Nathan carefully removed layers of dirt and corrosion. Caleb organized old paperwork discovered beneath the seats. Together they searched archives, historical records, and collector databases. Then, on the third night, they found something astonishing. Hidden inside a compartment beneath the trunk lining was a metal document case. Inside were original engineering sketches. There were handwritten notes, photographs, certification documents, and one signature that changed everything. The car was not a worthless production vehicle. It was an experimental prototype built decades earlier by a legendary American automotive designer named Michael Whitaker. Only one prototype had ever been completed. Collectors had spent years searching for it. Most experts believed it had been destroyed long ago. Nathan could hardly breathe as he read the documents. The lost prototype wasn't just rare. It was historically priceless. News traveled quickly through collector communities. Within 24 hours, automotive historians arrived to inspect the vehicle. Specialists confirmed the authenticity of the paperwork. Forensic examinations matched every identification mark. The impossible had happened. A forgotten piece of automotive history had survived. And it had been sitting unnoticed in a billionaire's warehouse for years. Suddenly reporters appeared outside Nathan's garage. Phone calls arrived constantly. Collectors from around the world requested private meetings. Some immediately offered $1 million. Then $2 million. Then $4 million. Nathan was stunned. Just a week earlier he had worried about paying next month's bills. Now people were offering life-changing amounts of money.